Imagine a throne room buried beneath the world. The walls are black with age. The columns vanish into shadow. Torches burn with gold light, but the darkness does not leave. At the far end sits a king wrapped like the dead. His skin is the color of fertile earth. His crown rises white above him. In his crossed hands are the crook and the flail, signs of rule, care, punishment, and power. This is Osiris. To the ancient Egyptians, he was not simply a god who died. He was the god who was murdered, restored, and enthroned beyond death itself. And his story begins with a question every civilization fears: what happens when order is killed? Welcome to Ancient Mythos. Tonight's theme is Osiris, the murdered god who ruled the dead. Before the dead could rise, the broken king had to be made whole. In this episode, we follow the story of a king murdered by chaos, restored by devotion, and enthroned beyond death itself. But before Osiris becomes Lord of the Dead, we need to remember what he represented in life: order, fertility, and a kingdom held together by sacred balance. Before Osiris became Lord of the Dead, he was remembered as a king. In Egyptian tradition, Osiris represented a world made fertile, lawful, and alive. He was connected to vegetation, renewal, the Nile's life-giving cycle, and the ideal of legitimate rule. He was not only a ruler in the political sense. He was the image of a kingdom working as it should, fields growing, rituals performed, families protected, the land held together by sacred order. That order mattered because ancient Egypt saw the universe as something that had to be defended. Ma'at, truth, balance, justice, rightness, was not automatic. Chaos pressed against the borders. The desert waited beyond the green land. Flood, famine, violence, and disorder could always return. So the king's role was not just to command. The king was supposed to hold the world in balance. And Osiris became one of the great divine images of that balance. But mythology rarely leaves order untouched. Osiris had a brother, Set. Set is one of the most complicated gods in Egyptian religion. He could be associated with desert, storm, violence, foreign lands, and raw force. In some contexts he was dangerous but necessary, a power used against chaos. In others, he became the one who shattered order from within. In the Osiris myth, Set is the brother who cannot accept Osiris's place. The story changes across traditions, but one famous version tells of deception. Set has a beautiful chest made to fit Osiris exactly. At a feast, he offers it as a prize to whoever can lie inside it perfectly. One by one, the guests try. Then Osiris enters the chest. The lid slams shut. Set's followers seal it. The king is trapped. The chest is cast into the Nile. Order has been locked in a coffin and sent into darkness. But the story does not end with the murder. Because Osiris has Isis. Isis is not passive grief. She is divine intelligence, magic, loyalty, and relentless love. She searches for Osiris across the land and beyond it. She refuses to let the murdered king vanish into silence. This is one reason the Osiris myth became so powerful. Death is not shown as a clean disappearance. Death scatters. It separates the body from the living, the name from the voice, the ruler from the throne, the family from the one they loved. Isis answers that scattering with remembrance. She looks. She mourns. She speaks the sacred words. She gathers what has been broken. In later versions of the myth, Set attacks again and cuts Osiris's body apart, hiding the pieces across Egypt. Isis searches for the fragments and brings them together. The image is disturbing, but the meaning is deeper than violence. A body broken by chaos must be restored by ritual, devotion, and divine power. This is where the myth begins to touch the heart of Egyptian funerary belief. The dead could not simply be abandoned. They had to be found. They had to be named. They had to be protected. They had to be made whole. To modern eyes, mummification can look like an attempt to preserve a corpse. To the Egyptians, it was far more than that. The body was part of survival. The name mattered. The tomb mattered. The rituals mattered. The dead person needed a place to receive offerings, a form that could be recognized, and sacred words to help them pass into the next life. The myth of Osiris gave this hope a divine pattern. Osiris is murdered. His body is endangered. His family and allied gods restore him. He becomes the image of the dead person made whole again. That is why Egyptian funerary language could identify the deceased with Osiris. A dead person was not merely gone. They hoped to become an Osiris, one who had passed through death and could live again in another form. This did not mean death was harmless. The story of Osiris is full of grief. But it says grief is not the final power. Ritual can answer chaos. Memory can answer erasure. The body can be guarded. The name can be spoken. The dead can be prepared for eternity. There is one more impossible act in the story. Osiris does not return to the world as he was before. His earthly reign is over. But through Isis, new life comes from the murdered king. Horus is conceived, the child who will grow into the avenger of his father and the rival of Set. This turns the myth from a story of death into a story of succession. Set may kill Osiris, but he cannot erase the claim of Osiris. He cannot destroy the future. He cannot stop the next king from being born. That mattered deeply in Egypt. The living pharaoh could be linked with Horus, the ruler who stands in the world of the living. The dead king could be linked with Osiris, the ruler who has passed beyond death. So the Osiris myth did not only explain the afterlife. It helped explain kingship itself. Every reign faced the same fear. The old king dies, the world trembles, and chaos looks for an opening. The myth gives an answer. The king dies as Osiris. The successor rises as Horus. Order is wounded, but it can be restored. Osiris does not come back to reclaim his old throne on earth. Instead, he becomes something stranger and greater. He becomes ruler of the dead. This is important. The Egyptian underworld was not simply a place of evil. It was dangerous, sacred, and filled with tests, gates, beings, and powers. The dead needed knowledge. They needed protection. They needed judgment. And Osiris sat at the center of that hope. In tombs, coffins, and funerary texts, he appears as the king beyond the grave, mummiform, crowned, holding the signs of authority. He is dead, yet ruling. Silent, yet powerful. Still, yet fertile. This contradiction is the mystery of Osiris. He is not the denial of death. He is the promise that death can be crossed without becoming nothing. Osiris is often shown with green or black skin. That can look strange if we only see death as decay. But in Egyptian symbolism, black could also suggest the fertile soil left by the Nile flood. Green could suggest vegetation, renewal, and life returning from the earth. Osiris belongs to the tomb, but he also belongs to the field. Seeds vanish into dark soil before they rise. The Nile floods and withdraws. Plants die and return. The body is wrapped and hidden, yet the hope of life continues. This is why Osiris could be both corpse and fertility god, both underworld king and symbol of renewal. His power is not loud. It is the power of the buried seed. The power of the body guarded in darkness. The power of a name still spoken after the mouth has gone silent. By the time many people imagine the Egyptian afterlife, they picture a hall of judgment. The heart of the deceased is weighed against the feather of Maat. Anubis tends the scales. Thoth records the result. Ammit waits in the shadows. And Osiris presides. That detail matters. Osiris is not merely a dead god in this scene. He is the authority before whom the dead hope to be vindicated. To stand before Osiris is to stand before a king who knows death from the inside. He has been betrayed. He has been broken. He has been restored. He rules the place every soul fears to enter. So his throne is both comforting and terrifying. Comforting, because he proves death is not always annihilation. Terrifying, because survival beyond death is tied to truth, ritual, and judgment. The dead do not simply drift into eternity. They must be found worthy of continuing. Osiris endured because his myth touched everything Egypt cared about. The Nile and the fields. The death of kings. The hope of families. The danger of chaos. The power of ritual. The fear that the body could be destroyed and the name forgotten. And the belief that, with the right order restored, death did not have to win completely. He was not a simple underworld monster. He was not a devil. He was not just a corpse on a throne. He was murdered order. Restored kingship. The dead made whole. The seed in the dark. The throne beneath the earth. In the end, Set does kill Osiris. That part of the story is not undone. Osiris does not return to ordinary life. He does not simply wake up and rule Egypt again as before. Something has changed forever. But that is exactly why the myth mattered. The Egyptians did not need a story pretending death was nothing. They needed a story saying death was real, and still not the final word. Osiris is the god who enters death and becomes king there. The god whose broken body becomes a map of restoration. The god whose child carries the future. The god whose throne waits in the darkness, not as an ending, but as a question: can what was broken be made whole again? For ancient Egypt, the answer was Osiris. If this journey into Osiris was interesting and informative, like the video, subscribe to Ancient Mythos, and join us for the next story. More myths, more monsters, and more forgotten gods are waiting in the dark.